Canada has the lowest deficit per capita in the G7. More than 5 times lower than in the United States. For the lowest debt per capita in the G7. And in fact, the payment on the interest of the debt today is only 11% for each dollar of tax we pay, and compared to what we got when we formed the government in 1993, we were obliged to pay 35 cents in every tax dollar. That was a little problem the Tories left to me. And we balanced the books. We took that mess from the Tories and we balanced the books. And we had 10 years of surplus. And the Tories came back to power and we went back in debt. Now inflation is 1.9% in Canada. It's 3.2% and increasing south of the border. You know, I spend my life talking about job creation. Now the problem, we're looking for manpower. It's a difficult problem, but it's better than the reverse. You know, I want to pay tribute to the government, to Mr. Trudeau, and to all the provincial governments for the fact that they have been with the municipalities put together the best program on the pandemic that we face, better than any other country in the world. Our debt rate was less than half of the United States. Today, as a party, we're choosing a new leader. A leader who will assume the mantle of Laurier and King, Saint Laurent and Pearson, Trudeau's father, Trudeau the son, who has with him a very beautiful daughter. You know, I'm old enough to say that. and myself. And that is very important. I want to take this moment to say how impressed I am by the quality of the candidates whose names are on the ballot tonight. It makes me very, very proud to be a Liberal. Et maintenant, parlons de l'éléphant dans la pièce. La longue et fructueuse amitié canado-américaine, construite au fil de multiples décennies, se transforme sous nos yeux et à une grande vitesse en quelque chose d'autre qu'il reste encore difficile à nommer. Le respect mutuel, la confiance, l'esprit de coopération réciproque, l'amitié, qui ont longtemps caractérisé nos relations, sont en train de faire place à la méfiance et une hostilité de plus en plus ouverte de l'administration Trump à l'égard de notre pays. Du jamais vu qui confond de plus en plus non seulement les Canadiens, mais certainement la majorité des Américains eux-mêmes, sans même parler du reste de la planète. Pourquoi? Disons que pendant que chercheurs universitaires, historiens, journalistes et autres spécialistes de la politique internationale tentent de trouver un sens à ce qui n'en a pas, au Canada, nous nous serrons les coudes pour affronter, aussi unis qu'il est possible de l'être, ce qui menace notre économie et notre souveraineté, autrement dit, notre existence même. En début de la semaine, les menaces des hausses de tarifs douaniers est devenue une réalité qui ne fera que des perdants si seul l'argent est la mesure. Mais pour nous, Canadiens, car nous sommes uniques au monde. And I want to pay tribute to the Trudeau government and all the premiers for the way they have led Canada in the last few weeks in confronting the menace imposed on us. And I could go on, but I'm limited in time. So, the world has lived for 80 years with a rule-based order that has brought us peace and prosperity. It has enabled the United States to be the strongest, the most powerful country in the world. It has allowed all of us to sleep well every night. And now, Donald Trump has decided to throw it all out the window. We are going to be living very difficult time. But I'm confident, I'm very confident that the next Prime Minister will work with the premiers, the leaders of all the political parties in the House of Commons, and allies around the world to stand together to meet the challenges that Mr. Trump is creating for the whole world. And perhaps, speaking of the President, it is time for a little history lesson for him. Probably does not realize that in 1776, Benjamin Franklin spent a year in Montreal trying to convince the people to join the American Revolution. And he was told by the Francophone, non merci. And they were right. Look what happened to the French language in Louisiana. The Loyalists left the USA to come back to Upper Canada and the Atlantic, and the Francophone and Lower Canada, together they built our independent country. During the War of 1812, Americans came to what is known Canada on a mission of conquest. They were defeated by Colonel de Salaberry in what is now Quebec, and by leaders like the great Indigenous chief Tecumseh in what is now Ontario. And I don't know, apparently some burned the White House at that time. But I'm too old to do it. No, it's a joke. But ladies and gentlemen, we have been friends and good neighbor with our southern neighbors. But we must stand up for ourselves. Historically, despite our friendship, we have had problems, but we always found a way to solve them. We have worked with and collaborated with the United States in the past, and I'm telling you, we will do so in the future. We are good neighbors and friends. We are good neighbors and friends, but we are proud and independent country. But sometimes one must stand up for Canada. We must always be vigilant. And I did so as minister and as prime minister. Way back in 1968, when the Americans sent a ship, the Manhattan, with no Canadian flag through our Northern Passage, they wanted to prove that the passage was international water. As Minister of Northern Affairs, I flew to Pond Inlet at the northern extremity of Baffinland to confront them. I was on the Louis Saint-Laurent icebreaker. I called the captain. I said, I will be there in an hour. And it's better to have the Canadian flag at the mast. I took... When I arrived, there was the Canadian flag at the mast. And I had a big smile. You know, we had other problems of the same nature. You remember Newfoundland, the so-called fish war, when we arrested the Estée, when my friend Tobin made a great show at the UN with the illegal nets, and we were successful. They changed the international laws after that because there was a problem that needed to be fixed. And I'm quite proud of it, and it was quite a time. Yeah. I was traveling in the West. I came back. It was Holy Week. So it was a Thursday, Holy Week. So my wife said, we'll have a good rest for the weekend. And I said, perhaps not, because I'm declaring war to Spain. She did not sleep. But, you know, we had another problem on the West Coast. You know, we have Vancouver Island, the mainland, and Canadian waters. And the fishermen from Oregon and Washington State were going to Alaska, but they were not respecting our water. So we threatened them to block the passage on Canadian water and force them to go in the high seas. It was a very difficult problem. The senator of Alaska said it was almost a question of war. So I discussed that, and I talked with my friend Bill Clinton, and he said, it's out of Canada, there's not much I can do. I said, if you cannot do something, I will do something. And they were forced to respect our laws. Some were taken to courts, and after that, the problem was solved because we stood for us strongly. But for 8 years, I was a colleague of Bill Clinton, and he would always say that Canada was his best ally, and that I was a very good friend, and we still are very good friends. But we worked together, and we found solutions together. And it's just what happened in the future, too. We always been good neighbors with anybody. So I was proud, too, when I was Prime Minister, and I had to say no to the participation in the American invasion of Iraq. That decision told the United States and the world that Canada is a proud, independent country. Of course, the business community was very nervous. They were afraid of retaliation. So I told them, okay, give me the list of all the goods and all the services that the Americans are buying from us because they like us. I've not received the list yet. So, we will work in collaboration with them. But, they have to understand, and everybody understand, that we are a very proud country. And for me, I can tell you that sometimes I can say this, from one old guy to another old guy. Stop this nonsense. Canada will never join the United States. I can tell you that my parents were not millionaires from New York. They were workers from Shawinigan. But my mother taught us good manners. She would have been ashamed of me. Prime Minister and the President in Ukraine in the last few weeks. The reason we don't want to become American is because our values as Canadians. We are proud Canadians, and yes, we owe a debt of recognition to Mr. Trump. So I want to say thank you to him, and I think I will propose him for the Order of Canada. I'm just kidding. Mesdames et messieurs, quand j'étais Premier ministre et que j'allais partout dans le monde, aux Nations Unies, au G7, à l'OTAN, au Commonwealth, à la francophonie et à toutes les autres rencontres internationales sur les 5 continents. Quand je revenais au Canada, je me disais que le travail de Premier ministre du Canada est peut-être le plus facile de la plupart des pays du monde. Le Canada, c'est le pays qui fonctionne le mieux, je crois, que partout ailleurs dans le monde. And it's why there are millions and millions of human beings from all over the world who would like to come and become Canadian citizens. There was a survey not long ago. They were asking the people, where will you want to go if you had to start again your life? And Canada was number 1. Why? Is because Canada is the land of freedom. Canada is the land of opportunity, the land of generosity, the land of tolerance, the land of stability, the land of rule of law. It is our land that is the envy of the world. Canada will continue to rise through north strong and free. Nobody will starve us into submission because Canada is and will remain the best country in the world. Vive le Canada!
Amis libéraux, veuillez accueillir le président du parti, Sachit Mehra. Liberals, please welcome President of the party, Sachit Mehra.
Hello, Liberals! How is everyone doing tonight? Let me ask that one more time. How are all the Liberals from coast to coast doing tonight? Vraiment, c'est un plaisir de voir tout le monde. My name is Sachit Mehra, President, Liberal Party of Canada. Mon nom est Sachit Mehra. Je suis le président du Parti libéral du Canada. And what a night, what a leadership race. Before I get into it, I want to take this moment to thank a few people. And it starts with our volunteers. Do not underestimate the ability of volunteers to affect real change. Because of all of you tonight, our party is at one of the strongest points in its history. In 2 months, we delivered a leadership race that was fair and secure. And I really want to thank all the members of our national board that showed up and delivered. Please stand up, national board members. Merci aux membres de notre conseil d'administration. And to everyone at LPC HQ, from staff across the country, thank you for your hope. Thank you for your long hours. Thank you for your hard work. You have helped deliver one of the most secure leadership contests in the history of Canada. I also want to thank, of course, our leader, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. J'aimerais prendre un moment pour reconnaître l'héritage important que nous laisse le Premier ministre Justin Trudeau. Monsieur le Premier ministre, pendant plus de 10 ans, vous avez mené notre parti à 3 victoires consécutives, en plus de livrer tellement pour les Canadiens. Prime Minister Trudeau is leaving us a lasting legacy. Dental care, child care, the Canada Child Benefit, des investissements historiques dans le logement abordable, des actions importantes pour combattre les changements climatiques et protéger notre environnement, des progrès immenses pour la réconciliation, defending women's rights, minority rights, and LGBTQ2 rights. And Prime Minister, thank you for standing up against bullies and people threatening us to become the 51st state. Prime Minister, thank you for your leadership to our party and to our country, but most of all, thank you for being a friend to everyone in this room and to Canadians everywhere. J'aimerais aussi remercier Monsieur Chrétien d'être ici ce soir. Quel discours, comme toujours. We'll have to get started on that Order of Canada award, for sure. Before we get to the moment that we have all been waiting for, I also want to take a moment to acknowledge all of our amazing candidates. To Frank, to Christia, Mark, Karina, merci pour vos incroyables campagnes. Thank you for being so inspiring. Merci pour l'inspiration que vous avez donnée à notre parti et au